Hey there, you're watching. Reader Recap. The story begins with a female zookeeper who, after an encounter with a puma, dies and is reincarnated. However, instead of becoming a princess or a human with exceptional abilities, she is reborn as a crow. Shortly after, she comes across an injured man running from a band of orcs. She decides to assist him by diverting the orc's attention and allowing the man to flee. Following their encounter, the two begin to develop a closer bond, and it is revealed that the man is the prince of the Balfour Kingdom. Meanwhile, his brother is vying for the throne. Follow them on their journey, filled with challenges and humor as they overcome obstacles to make Kamut the next emperor. The story commences at a zoo where the zookeeper is cleaning the premises. She discloses that her senior instructed her to care for the predators that day. Despite her fascination with predators, she regards them as the ideal animals. While completing her tasks enthusiastically, she is attacked by a puma and wakes up in a forest. Upon closer inspection, she realizes that she has been reborn as a crow. This revelation leaves her devastated as she ponders what she did in her previous life to merit becoming a crow. Frustrated that she couldn't even be a predator, she contemplates her next move. Prioritizing food, she searches for dry nuts to eat and attempts to fly. Luckily, she takes flight and is captivated by the view. Suddenly, she hears a commotion and discovers a group of orcs hunting a man. From this, she learns that she is no longer in her world. Soon, she locates a wounded man who reveals that he was attacked by the orcs earlier that day after joining a powerful count named Fallon on a hunt. He blames himself for being weak and not being able to awaken his family's divine power. Meanwhile, our crow friend, for some inexplicable reason, recognizes this man. She attempts to get his attention, but he misunderstands her intentions, thinking of crows as ill omens and corpse-eating birds. Nonetheless, she makes noises to lure the orc group elsewhere, attempting to protect the man. While acting as a distraction, the bird explains that this familiar man may be a character from a game or novel, but she is uncertain and decides to assist him nevertheless. After leading the orcs to a cliff and allowing the man to escape, the crow sets out to find him once more and discovers a trail of blood. Despite her limited knowledge, she decides to gather medicinal herbs to stop the man's bleeding. As he washes his wounds by a river, he is astounded by the bird's intelligence and becomes doubtful, believing the crow must be someone's familiar or a hybrid. Nevertheless, his suspicions are eventually cleared through the process of elimination. Still, he wonders why the bird is aiding him. After several encounters, the two develop a mutual bond, and the man bestows a name upon the crow, Reinal. This fills her with joy while the man is grateful for her assistance. The man is eventually revealed to be the prince of the Balfour Kingdom. He reveals that throughout his life he has been wary of everyone around him, believing that they are either attempting to deceive him or use him for their own purposes. Being with Reinal brings him a sense of calm that he has not experienced before, and he finds himself reluctant to return to the imperial palace. Instead, he wants to live with the crow. However, he knows that he must return to protect his people from his younger brother Llewellyn, who is attempting to seize the throne through tyranny. He recognizes that if he were to return now, nothing would have changed from the past. Therefore, he must prove himself as a member of the imperial family by awakening his divine powers, including the ability to transform into a wolf. Meanwhile, Reinal searches for herbs and comes across a discarded jewel. Upon closer inspection, she recognizes it as a Crowbon rock, a crucial item in an autumn game she used to play. Despite this, Reinal cannot recall the name of the game or its contents, and she curses the gods for placing her in a world where she has no memories. However, she does learn that her human friend's name is Kamut, the crown prince of the Balfour Empire. Additionally, she remembers that Kamut struggles to awaken his power and gives him the Crowban rock to assist him in unlocking his potential. Despite the possibility of death due to the fruit's overwhelming power, Kamut ingests it and begins to glow. Unfortunately, this attracts unwanted attention from wolves and humans, and they begin to approach. Reinal, unwilling to abandon her friend, decides to protect him until his awakening is complete. Kamut, in the meantime, is enduring excruciating pain. He feels that the pain is enough to make him wish for death. Memories of all the knights who gave their lives to protect him rush through his mind, and he vows to keep going to honor their sacrifice. Eventually, he achieves his goal and transforms, finding Reinal bravely fighting off the attackers despite being wounded. After quickly defeating the wolf humans, Kamut praises the bird for holding out so long and takes her to a trusted ally. There, Reinal wakes up and feels completely healed. She also finds herself in the mansion of a knight who is loyal to Kamut. Upon awakening, Kamut embraces her tightly, expressing his worry for Reinal. She, being a hopeless romantic, blushes upon hearing such words from a handsome prince. Kamut thanks Reinal for saving his life multiple times. Suddenly, Galanos, the trusted knight, enters the room. He greets the prince, but soon expresses his remorse for not aiding Kamut when he needed it. As a result, he offers his life as an apology. Upon seeing Galanos about to take his own life, Kamut immediately intervenes and stops him. He tells Galanos that there is no need for him to feel guilty as he was away on a mission assigned by the king. Additionally, he praises Galanos for not succumbing to Llewellyn's rule and declares that he wants Galanos to act as his sword from now on. Upon hearing this, Galanos swears his loyalty to the prince, pledging to protect his master from any and all threats. Soon after, Galanos asks how the prince managed to return safely despite being injured. Kamut introduces Reinal to him, telling him how this crow has saved his life many times. He also asks about the current situation, learning that Kamut was announced as missing. A team was formed to search for him, but Llewellyn was in charge of the group, and consequently, they found nothing. As they discuss, Reinal recalls how the king is supposed to eliminate all the warring siblings to gain the throne. She tries to comfort Kamut, but he insists that he has already prepared for every possible outcome and orders Galanos to head to the capital and inform the emperor that Kamut is alive. Soon after, Kamut departs for the capital, and he locks Reinal in a cage during the journey. Along the way, Reinal appears to be struggling. Kamut opens her cage but is immediately pecked repeatedly for his actions. However, Kamut asserts that he did this to keep Reinal close to him and share a kiss, insisting that he needs nothing as long as she is by his side. Reinal becomes alarmed after the kiss, while Kamut maintains that there are many adversaries in the capital and he can trust no one but Reinal. Witnessing Kamut's vulnerability, Reinal vows to remain by his side always. They soon arrive at the imperial palace and enter Kamut's quarters. There, he once again confines Reinal in a cage, cautioning her to remain quiet as danger could be lurking. He even assigns a butler to care for her in his absence, warning the butler against mistreating his captive. Subsequently, Kamut departs for some urgent business and crosses paths with Llewellyn on the way. Llewellyn rushes to his younger brother and professes to have been worried about his safety. However, Kamut is already aware of the truth and sees through Llewellyn's pretense, mocking him and making him angry. Kamut reveals with sly discretion that he knows what his brother has done, but Llewellyn awkwardly denies any involvement. Kamut then goes on to explain that despite Llewellyn awakening his divine powers early and receiving support from the nobles as a result, he made no effort to develop himself further and was therefore raised as a spoiled child. As a result, he was unable to claim the throne during his absence. Later, Kamut visits his father, the emperor of the Balfour Kingdom, who is ill and confined to his bed. They have a conversation, and the emperor praises Kamut for awakening his powers. Meanwhile, Reinal is given some repulsive bugs by the butler to eat, but she refuses and prefers to starve rather than consume the insects. However, as her hunger intensifies, she struggles to find justifications for eating the bugs. Nevertheless, she perseveres until Kamut returns from his meeting with the king and provides her with fruits and raw meat to eat. Afterward, he presents her with a box full of jewels as a token of his gratitude for helping him return to the palace. Grateful for the gift, she opts to offer Kamut a gem, and he embraces her, promising to designate crows as the national avian symbol when he ascends to the throne. On a later day, Reinel decides to venture out of Kamut's chamber and soar into the palace garden. Kamut joins her, but their joy is interrupted by Llewellyn's interference. Nonetheless, it appears that there is a mutual hostility between Kamut and Llewellyn. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you and see you on the next one.